This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 9th day of July in the year 2024. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. The first meeting of the new Constitutional Reform Commission took place this afternoon at the Commission of Inquiry Secretariat on Middle Street here in Georgetown. At the meeting, Minister of Governance Gail Teixeira was voted in as the vice chairperson of the commission, which has retired Chancellor Justice Carl Singh as its chairman. Teixeira was nominated by Minister Kwame McCoy and voted in without the support of the opposition-nominated members of the commission. She was elected as vice chair, although she was not present at the meeting. At the end of the meeting, which lasted for close to 2 hours, the chairman of the Constitutional Reform Commission, Justice Carl Singh, said there are a number of issues that need to be resolved before the commission moves on with its work.
The objective is to reform the Constitution. But we were met today with issues that need to be resolved. And I can tell you, things like staffing, the composition of the Secretariat, getting appropriate people employed. We can't really move on with the work of the Commission until those issues are settled.
The Constitutional Reform Commission chairman said immediate steps are being taken to work on the issues that have been highlighted. He said there is full commitment to get those issues resolved within a short space of time. With national elections set to take place next year and some political parties hoping that the reform process will be completed before then, Justice Singh said the commission has not been mandated to complete its work before elections.
It's not a question of whether this exercise can be completed in time for elections. We don't have a mandate to reform the Constitution for the purpose of elections. If you look at the Act, the enabling legislation, it speaks about, most importantly, a review of the fundamental rights of the people of Guyana. So yes, we are also enjoined to consider questions of electoral reform, questions relating to the Guyana Elections Commission. So yes, these are important issues, but I am not sure that is the principal mandate of this commission. We have a lot of work to be done.
Attorney General Senior Counsel Anil Nandlal, who is also a member of the commission, told News Source that with some issues to be settled, he's hoping that the commission's work can be done with some level of alacrity. Meanwhile, opposition-nominated member of the commission, Vincent Alexander, said he hopes the constitutional reform process will address the realities of Guyana.
I hope this process will address the realities of our country, and the fact that we are a plural society, and that our electoral system must reflect that plural society, and our governance should reflect that plural society, and that we should ensure that constitutional provisions and other provisions are not only written, but that there are mechanisms to ensure that when they are written, they are adhered to. Because what we're faced with right now is a situation where we have all sorts of provisions that are flouted, and we need to have a constitution that ensures us not only that we subscribe to, but adhere to the things to which we subscribe.
And the leader of the Alliance for Change, Attorney Nigel Hughes, who also sits on the Constitutional Reform Commission, told News Source that he would like to see a number of issues addressed, including issues related to the hosting of elections and the electoral process.
I certainly think immediate objectives would be to allow post-election coalitions, to remove the winner-take-all system. Certainly, we believe, for example, the president should have a 60% majority vote separate from the rest of the National Assembly. And that's just a few of them.
And PNC Reform member and opposition member of Parliament, Ganesh Mahipal, said that now the commission has finally gotten down to work. He's hoping that it will move on with that work.
So I'm not really too optimistic about reaching or submitting a proposed constitutional amendment by the end of this term because of the slothful movement that I see. But I trust we can work to get it that way. I trust that we can.
A number of members of the commission were absent from today's meeting. The Commission will be looking at having a much larger secretariat to better accommodate its work and future meetings. Back in April, when the majority of members of the Commission were sworn in, President Irfan Ali reminded them that the Constitution must remain a living document that would be able to respond to new and emerging challenges, including societal changes, while still upholding its core principles and protecting the rights of citizens. More news coming up in just a moment.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Calling all small to large scale businesses, the International Building Expo 2024 is coming to the National Stadium from August 8th to 11th, 2024. Whether you're a small business or a major player, there's a package for you starting as low as $20,000. Network with industry leaders, boost your brand visibility, and generate high quality sales leads. Register now at www.buildingexpo.gy. That's www.buildingexpo.gy or call 592-635-1103 or 592-635-1104.
Oh no, welcome to Building Expo. Yeah.
In the early hours of this morning, the People's Progressive Party civic government used its slim majority in the National Assembly to pass an amendment which changes the composition of the University of Guyana's Governing Council from 26 members to 32. There were strong objections from the parliamentary opposition, which encouraged the government to have the amendment first sent to a special select committee. The motion, piloted by Education Minister Procurement Chand, has amended Section 1212 of the University of Guyana Act. The amendments have resulted in a number of changes to the Act, including the expansion of the Governing Council by increasing the number of persons who can be nominated by non-governmental organizations from 4 to 5. And the changes also include youth nominees as well as women, farmers, Amerindian, and business nominees, which were already provided for. Additionally, the Federation of Independent Trade Unions of Guyana FITAG will now have a nominee on the council, while the Education Minister can now nominate 6 persons instead of 3 to sit on the University Council. The nominations from the Chancellor have been reduced from 6 to 4. In opening the debate, Education Minister Priya Madikchan said the move is to improve the efficiency of the University of Guyana. She said the university continues to be plagued by complaints, and she believes that adding more members to the council will serve in the best interest of the university.
I cannot imagine which of these persons, representatives, this is going to be a very short debate and that we'll be able to go home soon. Because I can't imagine, is it youth that they're going to object to? Is it to the religious bodies? Is it national defense and security? Is it FITO? Who is it the opposition can object to? We're not removing anyone from this council. We are adding persons to this council. We're adding persons to the council so that we have a more inclusive council that could offer more to the University of Guyana.
But opposition member of parliament Amanza Walton Desir said the move by the government is a sinister one. She explained that the manner in which the government has gone about increasing the number of seats on the council reeks of partisan political interests. Walton Desir explained that if the government was genuine, it could have increased the numbers on the council and give the vice chancellor the power to appoint the additional members based on agreed criterion set out.
The fact that we in this house are expected to believe, given what the government has said, that appointing all of these people will somehow result in the academic enhancement of the council, that burden has not been discharged, Mr. Speaker. And to add, if political influence and partisan politics was not the motivation, then you could simply require the chancellor, if it is a certain caliber of people that you want, you proscribe the chancellor's discretion.
But Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport Charles Ramson Jr. said the government cannot keep doling out money to the University of Guyana when concerns continue to be raised about the operations of the university and the welfare of the students.
We as government, we have to respond. And it's not just about doling out money. It's not just about doling out money. It's about how money is spent. No one can ever, let's do a comparison quickly. How can you, if you were to compare the University of Guyana's performance versus our regional brothers and sisters, and you can examine where those universities rank in comparison and what are the facilities that they have.
However, trade unionist and opposition member of parliament Coretta MacDonald stated that the move will have a negative effect on the university.
The politicization of the tertiary education system kills academic freedom and stifles innovation. We do not need this at this time in Guyana's history. Sir, the politicization at the level of the University of Guyana can limit the autonomy of academic leaders and infringe upon academic freedom. Heads of departments and faculties and lecturers may face pressure to align their teachings with specific political beliefs or face consequences for presenting diverse.
Another opposition member of parliament, Shara Duncan, also voiced serious concern. The People's National Congress Reform, which is the largest party in the opposition coalition, had flagged the move by the Education Ministry days ago, making it clear that it is not supportive of the move, since it will lead to political interference of the university's operations. The government is also facing criticism about not engaging the management at the University of Guyana about the move. According to reports, the management at UG only found out about the changes through the media. Turning our attention now to elections, noting that the governing People's Progressive Party Civic appears to be setting the stage to call early general and regional elections, recently elected leader of the Alliance for a Change, Nigel Hughes, believes it will not be feasible to hold national elections unless and until the national census results are published and there is a clean voters list available. General and regional elections are constitutionally due next year. But in a social media post, Mr. Hughes said he suspects that early elections might be called, as he cited intensified government outreaches by ministers of the government. He said the tea leaves are suggesting that there is likely to be an early election. Noting that government ministers are holding public meetings, he said there can be no elections without the census results being published first and a clean electoral list. Mr. Hughes said the bloated list of electors will not cut it, and he's asking why should the country be subjected to another problematic election. Opposition leader and PNC Reform leader Aubrey Norton has also suggested that the government is setting the stage to call snap elections. However, both President Irfan Ali and Vice President Bharat Jagdeo have brushed aside the suspicions, saying the elections will be held by November of next year. The political opposition seems to be intensifying its calls for a clean voters list. The PPP has long declared that although the list might have some issues, the removal of names from the list might be illegal, based on a previous ruling by the Chief Justice. The Guyana Elections Commission has since embarked on another round of claims and objections, hoping to use the exercise to sanitize the list. But the combined opposition believes that is not enough to ensure free and fair elections. Well, the National Assembly on Monday passed the Fugitive Amendment Bill, with several changes that seek to increase cooperation between Guyana and other countries on the question of extradition. In introducing the bill to the House, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal noted that the amendments are timely and necessary to combat organized and transnational crime. The amended legislation deals with extradition and the improvement of the government-to-government process. The amended bill also seeks to allow evidence adduced in another country into the record of Guyana, so that the presiding magistrate can authenticate the evidence before him or her. The amendments also introduce a new provision to the existing laws, enabling the inclusion of records of evidence that would otherwise not be admissible. Under Section 2 of the Principal Act, a fugitive offender is defined as a person who is accused or alleged to have been unlawfully at large after conviction of an extraditable offense committed under the jurisdiction of Guyana or any Commonwealth or foreign territory, and is or suspected to be in any other country or territory other than the country in which the offense was committed or the person was convicted.
Simply put, if a person in the United States commits an extraditable offense in that state, in the United States, and or is convicted of an extraditable offense in the United States, but flees to Guyana and is in Guyana, the law enforcement agencies in America can initiate a process to extradite that person to the U.S., either to stand trial if he has not been convicted, and in the case of conviction, to serve the sentence imposed by the court in the United States. And as I said earlier, it is based upon reciprocity, so the same applies to a person who has committed an offense in Guyana or is convicted of an offense in Guyana and flees to the United States of America.
A person can be extradited if that person commits an offense punishable with death, imprisonment for life, or a term of not less than 2 years under the laws of Guyana, as well as the laws of the requesting state. In relation to the concerns raised about the Act and one's right to due process, Attorney General Nandlal said the amendments will not compromise due process.
Extradition serves the essential purpose of facilitating international cooperation in the administration of justice by allowing for the transfer of individuals, accused persons, or convicts of crime from one country to another for trial or punishment.
The proposed charges also aim to allow for a wider array of evidence, including records of the case, to be considered during extradition hearings. Opposition Member of Parliament Attorney Kemraj Ramjatan, while supporting the legislation on the grounds that it will strengthen the country's fugitive laws, expressed worry that the amended legislation could also allow for inadmissible evidence to be used to facilitate an extradition.
In the extant regime of laws that we have in Guyana, it must be evidence that is admissible under our laws. Whereas this amendment seeks to give a record that can have what is called, in my opinion, and based on my interpretation of it, inadmissible evidence. Inadmissible evidence. So there is obviously a derogation from what used to be that it must accord to the principles of admissibility, namely relevance, cogency, compelling nature of the evidence and all of that. But what we are now stating here is that whenever we do a record of evidence, we can have that which as evidence would not otherwise be admissible under the laws of Guyana.
Opposition MP Gitta Chandon Edmond, while supporting the legislation, warned against the abuse of the changes.
And I reiterate the need for government to use this legislation not for political reasons, but to safeguard the state and the people of this country and our citizens. Lest we forget, the process for extraditing a person can be cumbersome, and it takes several months to finalize, even if a person has consented to their extradition. Although all stages of the extradition process will need to be completed, the safeguards built into the extradition regime will still apply. So there must be the interest of the state considered, and equally as well, the rights of the individual.
Minister of Home Affairs Robeson Ben and Minister of Foreign Affairs Hugh Todd were among the members of Parliament who also supported the amendments. After more than 2 hours of debates, the amendments to the Fugitive Act were passed by the National Assembly.
Calling all small to large scale businesses. The International Building Expo 2024 is coming to the National Stadium from August 8th to 11th, 2024. Whether you're a small business or a major player, there's a package for you starting as low as $20,000. Network with industry leaders, boost your brand visibility, and generate high quality sales leads. Register now at www.buildingexpo.gy. That's www.buildingexpo.gy. Or call 592-635-1103 or 592-635-1104.
Oh no, welcome to Building Expo. Yeah.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
The Guyana Elections Commission GCOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors OLE. If you became 18 years or over by June 30th, 2024, and you are a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors PLE in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed, and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you have changed your address since you were registered, you need to visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your new area of residence to apply for a transfer. Monday, 15 July 2024 is the last day you can apply for a transfer during this exercise. For further information, contact GCOM at 225-0278-9, 226-65578 or 9, 223-9650, or visit our website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Maintaining that ExxonMobil Guyana abides by the laws and regulations of the country, President of ExxonMobil Guyana, Alastair Rutledge, today ruled out that there is an issue of conflict of interest emerging from the company's relationship with one of its legal representatives, Hughes, Fields and Stobie, due to the fact that the firm's senior partner, Nigel Hughes, has been elected leader of the Alliance for Change. Vice President Barra Jagdeo last week hinted at a possible investigation into what he considers a historical conflict of interest in the relations between ExxonMobil and Hughes, Fields and Stobie, the law firm in which Hughes serves as a partner. Today, the CEO of ExxonMobil Guyana said the company does not believe there exists any conflict of interest.
We comply with all laws and regulations here and internationally, so we don't believe we have any conflict of interest, any issues.
With Nigel Hughes elected leader of the opposition Alliance for Change, the vice president said the government will closely monitor Exxon and its first-tier contractors' response to the new political development. On Friday, the attorney Nigel Hughes welcomed the probe, making it clear that he does not deal directly with the ExxonMobil company. Vice President Barra Jagdeo was this afternoon quoted by Demerara Waves as stating that he's not surprised by the position taken today by the ExxonMobil president. A total of 1,491 contracts amounting to more than $181.7 billion were awarded by the National Procurement and Tender Administration over a period of 1 year, from the 8th of July 2022 to the 7th of July 2023. Additionally, 67 contracts totaling $319.1 million were issued in US dollars. This is according to a report of the Public Procurement Commission, which was laid before the National Assembly by Senior Minister responsible for Finance, Dr. Ashley Singh, on Monday. The Public Procurement Commission said all of the notifications of awards were issued using the National Competitive Bidding category, which is an open tendering method of procurement, and no debarred supplier or contractor benefited from a contract during the period. According to the report, the highest number of contracts were handed out by the Ministry of Public Works, a total of 361 during the period. The Ministry of Agriculture's National Drainage and Irrigation Authority followed closely behind with 226. The Ministry of Home Affairs doled out 159 contracts, while the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development handed out 135 contracts. The Georgetown Public Hospital was responsible for handing out 117 contracts, while the Guyana Water Incorporated doled out 93 contracts, and the Education Ministry laid out 77 contracts. It was explained that from the 1,491 contracts awarded, government ministries accounted for 844 of those, which represents 61% of the total sum of $104.7 billion, while statutory bodies accounted for 421 contracts, representing 18% to the sum of $46.6 billion. The remaining 226 contracts, representing 20%, were procured by public enterprises and government departments and amounted to more than $30 billion. As part of a compliance review, the Public Procurement Commission assessed 12 of the projects and found that of that number, only 3 were in breach of the Procurement Act. Those 3 related to the supply and delivery of surgical instruments to the Georgetown Hospital, the photocopying of 16,000 curriculum guides for the Ministry of Education, and the supply and delivery of 1 new sport utility vehicle for operations and field use for the Education Ministry. In all 3 of those cases, the incorrect procurement methods were used. Additionally, during the reported period, the Commission received 10 complaints and requests for investigations on the basis of alleged irregularities. 4 of those cases have been deemed closed by the Public Procurement Commission. The other complaints are currently being investigated, the report stated. Police investigators have arrested a suspect as they continue to probe the murder of the Venezuelan woman whose lifeless body was discovered along the roadway in the new Diamond housing development with a bullet wound to the head on Sunday. The woman has since been identified as Evelyn Alfonso Alves. She was 23 years old and was also a mother of 3. The police said she lived in East Street, Georgetown, along with her mother, who is Guyanese. She was identified by family members early yesterday morning. Family members told investigators that they last saw the woman alive on Saturday night when she left her home. The body was discovered by construction workers in the area in the new Diamond Housing development. 2 years ago, the same woman, Evelyn Alfonso Alves, was charged along with other family members for the attempted murder of a 16-year-old girl. She was remanded to jail at the time.
Will it be another car or is it a house?
If you're looking for sweetness to put inside a basket, I am the blinking market.
Get ready for the 3rd edition of Blankets and Baskets on August 4, 2024.
The Maltino's ground comes alive with Guyana's best entertainers and a vibe that can't be matched.
Come for a chance to win numerous prizes,
including the grand prize of a... Tickets are $6,000 with other special luxury packages
from $40,000 to $120,000.
It's the Blankets and Baskets Extravaganza.
For more information, check out Blankets and Baskets on Facebook.
GCOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors, OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed, and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you are 18 years or over by June 30, 2024, and you are a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. If you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE, you are required to apply for registration if your name is not in the PLE, apply for a transfer if you have changed your address since you were registered, apply for a name change if you have changed your name, or apply for a correction if your registration particulars are incorrect. Any person whose information on the PLE is incorrect can apply for such information to be changed or corrected. Any person applying for a change or correction to his or her particulars must provide the relevant original source document, birth certificate and deed poll for a name change by deed poll, marriage certificate and ID card for a name change by marriage, divorce absolute in the case of a woman who is desirous of reverting to her maiden name from her married name, birth certificate, adoption or naturalization certificate for correction of minor clerical errors. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to conduct any of those transactions. The claims aspect of this exercise will end on Monday, July 15, 2024. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Monster, bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors, that me crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster, grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Buster, bust the flavors. Buster, bust the flavors.
With your regional and international news tonight, I'm Svetlana Marshall in the region. Cuba has foiled a plot to sneak arms and ammunition onto the Caribbean island from the United States. Detaining nearly 36 people in a broader scheme, authorities say sought to destabilize its government, a Cuba Interior Ministry official said on Monday.
According to Reuters, Cuba first unveiled details of the plot last December, when authorities said a Cuban man residing in the United States arrived on the island by jet ski, armed with guns, ammunition, and military gear to recruit others and commit acts of violence. A subsequent 7-month investigation said a lead criminal investigator with Cuba's Interior Ministry unveiled a broader plan that includes participation by 32 Cuban residents and a U.S.-based group, which Cuban authorities say continues to plot attacks on Cuba from U.S. soil. Cuba said it had notified the U.S. government agencies of the results of the investigation, but said the individuals continue to act with impunity. Former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro benefited from an illegal scheme to sell $1.2 million in jewelry and other luxury gifts given to his government, police investigators say. It comes after Brazil's federal police last week recommended charging him with crimes including money laundering over undeclared jewelry gifted between 2019 and 2022. The latest police report states that officials had acted to divert expensive gifts to Mr. Bolsonaro from foreign governments. The officials then sought to sell the items for the illicit enrichment of the then president. The far-right politician has claimed that cases against him are politically motivated. And finally tonight, international news. U.S. President Joe Biden welcomes the heads of NATO member states to Washington on Tuesday for an annual summit that gives the embattled Democrat an international stage to convince allies at home and abroad he can still lead. Biden, 81, has vowed to press on in his race against Republican Donald Trump, 78, despite concern from Democrats on Capitol Hill and donors that he will lose the November 5 election after a halting debate performance on June 27. Biden made restoring the United States' traditional alliances abroad to counter the threat of autocracies the centerpiece of his foreign policy after Trump challenged allies as part of an American First approach. Who wins in November could have a substantial impact on NATO's and Europe's future. Trump has suggested that, given a second term, he would not defend NATO members that did not meet the alliance's defense spending target of 2% of their respective GDP if they came under military attack. He has also questioned the amount of aid given to Ukraine in its battle against Russia's invasion. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.